Hi everyone, coming at you from the kitchen in front of the white backdrop. My neck really hurts. I wasn't going to make this video today. I don't really feel like it. I find that I'm really increasingly severely depressed. Court date is coming up tomorrow where this guy is going to most likely be there, this lying, conniving bail bonds guy who barely has a bail bonds business. I'm trying to get this in focus. One side of my face is noticeable, the other isn't because of the sun or shade coming in over there. I don't know. Yeah, I'm more depressed than I've ever been at this point in my life, or existence. I don't know if I can call it a life. I can't, so that's that. I've never existed in such dread and fear for something that I did not do, that I not even in a remote way did ever, and yet I'm being falsely accused of. I mean, this is the corruption of the California courts. Not for everyone, not for every case, but for me it is. And I know it's been for other people, where people who are undergoing malicious prosecution end up in jail. On this case alone, I've wrongfully been put in jail since last year, approximately 3 times, and they want to put me back in jail again, and it astounds me. It absolutely astounds me, and I say that without being dramatic in any way. That it doesn't surprise me, it astounds me that a court is so corrupt and the prosecutors are so petty that they're willing to attempt to get a conviction under their belt under any circumstance, even when it's false. In my case, I'm trying to make it so you can see me better. But I can't talk like this the whole time, so to get a conviction under their belt, attempting to get a conviction under their belt. And this prosecutor is an old guy. He's old and he's pathetic. So it's not like it's even the beginning of his career where he's trying to build a name for himself. I don't know if he's trying to build a name for himself, but he's old. And you would think that he would at least try to have some honesty and not prosecute in a matter where it's obvious, it's woefully obvious that the alleged victim, which is actually a non-victim in this case, is lying and saying that he's received serial calls, death threats via phone calls, which has never happened in my case. I've never contacted this guy except back October 2015 when I was first arrested, and his bail bonds office number was posted on the window along with other phone numbers advertising, bail now, pay later. And that's the first time I ever saw the number and contacted that office, and the only time. And he scammed me. And ever since then, he's made my life so overly miserable. And he won't stop. I mean, this is a guy with no life, no business, no nothing, that he would go after a woman who's innocent and so gleefully and with such joy go after someone to have them prosecuted falsely in his name. These last few days I've gone about the days and the nights in such dread and fear and misery. I've been through more than you could possibly fathom in my life. I've been in jails, I've been in prison, I've been in institutions, I've been through court cases, I've been through adversities. I've been through so much, so many times, and so long in my life, and I've always survived it, and I've always been upbeat, and I've always been a fighter, and I've always gotten through it, and I've bounced back. There have been times when I was, scared, depressed, worried, stressed out. Who wouldn't be? But I always got through, as they say, with flying colors. I mean, I always got through. This is the most extreme time. These are the most extreme times that I've faced that. It scares me because nothing around me, the atmosphere doesn't even feel the same. Everything around me feels different, and I don't know how to explain it, but there are realms, and if you're naturally, we're used to being in one realm, but if a person were to switch realms and be in another identical realm but parallel realm, but a different realm, nonetheless, the atmosphere would feel different. And I don't know if that's the case, but I do know the atmosphere feels different. I'll explain that. It's really hard to explain, but scientifically, those who understand it from a scientific point of view would know what I'm trying to put into words. At any rate, it feels different, that everything around me feels figuratively dark and dim and dismal. All in the name of going to court tomorrow for the misdemeanor and the other case, and then 2 days later on the 16th I'll be going to the other court. But I'm scared for tomorrow, and even if they don't jail me tomorrow based on the false allegations, the lies of this monster guy, he's gonna come back with his lies, his false allegations, his lies another day. He won't give up because he has nothing else to do. He has no reason to live. This is all he has. He's technically and actually a criminal himself. He has a record, but this is the first time. See, people like this, they've always been the convicted, so they love it when they're on the other side, where they're the sweetheart of the courts, and the courts prosecute if they think that they can get the case through the court system. They don't prosecute because they want to keep society safe, because they think that there's somebody out there who's really a danger. They don't care. They're just as corrupt themselves, and they're unindicted criminals themselves. And I say this about the prosecutors who falsely prosecute. I don't say it about all of them, or the ones who over prosecute, and the judges and or commissioners who go along with it, and the attorneys who are lazy and uncaring and too arrogant and also too corrupt to properly defend a client. So when I was a child, well, I don't know, when I was about 11 and through the years, I used to think that in America, as long as you're not guilty, you will always be fine. You'll never be in jail. You know, the courts will see that you're not guilty. The courts will see, you know, that you're innocent, that you didn't do whatever you're accused of. And in the end, it'll be okay. I used to think that, but by around 25 or so, I came to see that that is not the case. That, at least in California, cops don't arrest and prosecutors don't prosecute based on if they really think that a person is guilty or innocent. They do so and go forward based on if they think they can get a case by, and if they think they can get a conviction, or if they think it'll pay off for them to do so. They don't care if you're guilty or innocent. They care if they can get that final conviction. That's it. And there are people out there who will pretend to be victims to just because they're vindictive and vengeful and they have an agenda, whether it's bitter ex-spouses, bitter rivals, business associates, acquaintances, you name it. It's happened before. It's as old as time, and it's happening in this case with someone that I don't even know this person. And if I had never met him under bail circumstances, I would never know of his existence. And even if I did, hypothetically, I wouldn't give a fuck. This person is an utter loser. And I don't say that out of anger. I say it out of observing his behavior, the way he's been in court, the liar that he is, and the time and energy that he expends on this. He got a falsified restraining order against me, and he got lucky because the commissioner, who everybody's complained about, who everybody's publicly complained about, actually rules based on her whims, not based on the law. And he got lucky. He got that commissioner who granted the permanent restraining order and persecuted me so badly in court. And there's legal action being taken on that right now against that ruling. But at any rate, coming back to the misdemeanor, and that wasn't enough for him. That wasn't enough. He had this case put together on me. So tomorrow I go to court, and I am so terrified that I've gone into this, I feel like an irrevocable depression and anxiety, to where I don't sleep, but if I fall into a so-called sleep, it's like I burst awake in a burst of fear. That's the only way that I think I can explain it at this point. And it's really taken its toll on me. I don't feel the same. I mean, you can see it. I'm coming at you raw. This is me. I wish you could see better. I could probably adjust it, but I really don't care. That's what a toll, the harm and damages that this guy's taken against me. That's what a toll all of it's taken on me. And the things that I used to care about, like my little passions every day, like going about my day, my brand, my being inspiring, all those things don't feel the same to me anymore. I mean, every day when I would like go about my day and go out and be excited about having lunch at this or that place, or buying this thing or that thing that I've been like looking at forever, or meeting this person or that person and like having such a positive experience with them, or going here or there to like my favorite places that just made me feel good. All those things in a matter of about 2 weeks, or it was since the last time I was in court, which I believe was February 2nd, if I remember correctly. The stress is like, my memory is like bad right now. Nothing's been the same. It's all turned for the worst. It's like my world turned upside down, and all because of a liar and a con artist and a prosecutor and a court who know it and yet move forward based on that con artist. You know, that's where I am today and tomorrow. And if they put me in jail, they're going to send me to, I can say this with such certainty, the most dreadful place. If hell exists, that's what hell is. And it's not if, it does. I mean, I don't think hell is an imaginary place or a place after death. I think hell is when you're actually conscious and living or existing. Century Regional Detention Facility is the worst place. It is run by sadistic sheriff's employees. They put you in cells where the sinks and the toilets don't work, don't function, and they don't care. No matter what the season is out here, inside there it's always freezing cold, and it's not that they keep it cold for sanitary reasons. Even if they have a HEPA system, it doesn't work properly. Nothing there works properly. It's just freezing cold all the time. And my experiences, I've always gotten one blanket. And I'm talking about these things because, I mean, as a human being, you have to find a way to get by, even if that's all you're going to do, and they make that impossible. I mean, the so-called nurses there, well, they are nurses, you know, they're licensed nurses. They barely speak English, and they don't care. They don't care. They're almost as sadistic as the deputies, senior deputies, sergeants, lieutenants, and so on. And these people there have the lowest IQs, and it's actually a secret fact that people who work within the jail system at sheriff's department are hired based on a lower IQ level. And that's because the powers that be don't want them to be able to think properly and make good decisions for the inmates or whoever is under their control. They want them to be like dumb, slow animals and do what they're told, which is always the wrong thing. And anybody who's been in this system for a significant amount of time, or it only takes a short time actually, and it's common knowledge, knows what I'm talking about. At any rate, that's where they would put me again. They're determined to get me to plead to something, to accept the plea bargain, and I'm not willing to do it because I'm innocent. I'm not willing to accept anything. They even offered me a plea bargain last year in 2016 where they would eventually drop it to an infraction. I said absolutely not. So they're trying to push me and push me. And I know what they're trying to do. This is what bad people and liars do. At any rate, here I am right now, and I'm really, really scared about tomorrow. It affects you in ways that you never imagined before that it would. And then when it does, you don't even know really what to think. Just everything around me has this prevailing darkness, this figurative darkness, and dread. Dread is the only, dark and dreadful is about the only way I can explain it right now. And through it all, I'm remaining strong. Again, you have to be a soldier, and I'm a soldier. I'm just saying how I feel. I wasn't going to make this video because, as you can see, I'm not doing much. I ran some more errands today, and I came back to the house, and I'm just here, and a few hours remain until tomorrow. And this has cost me so much financially, emotionally, psychologically, physically, and in so many other ways. The harm and damages are countless. But I want to say this. Don't, whatever you're going through today, if you are going through something or some things, don't let your enemies get you down, because you can't make it that easy for them. And the laws of the universe dictate what comes around goes around. And one day, somebody you don't even know about or circumstances will make the same things 100 times worse, at least, happen to them. And but you know what? When they're doing it and they're enjoying themselves and they're succeeding at what they're doing, which is so horrible, they don't think about that and they never believe it anyways. But that is so. It's just that for the time being, when you're going through what you're going through, you just, sometimes you just have to, and it's easy to preach this even now for me. It's easier to preach it than to actually do it, because I'm human. Sometimes the only thing you can do is just be in it and go with it. That's all you can do. Sometimes you can't fight it too much. And I've tried every way to deal with things, to try my best to right wrongs, to, but I found that sometimes when you just go with it, as impossible as it feels, sometimes it works out better. And I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen for myself and I've seen it happen for others. But the bottom line is that you cannot let circumstances and or your enemies get you down to keep you down. You can't. And I'm too strong and I'm too willful and to let it, as scary as it is, you know, from my several few videos so far, I've been filming in the kitchen, and I know in the future I'll go and film in better places, better locations. But as you can tell, coming to you raw, I'm not doing much today. I brushed my teeth, washed my face. I haven't even really scrubbed my face. I haven't done anything with my face, my hair. Really, I'm not even wearing a bra. And I'm saying that to emphasize, and only to emphasize, how depressed I am. I mean, really, I'm not wearing a bra, and it's not for sex appeal. You know, it's because I just don't care. Don't want to wear one. And I'm somebody who always has taken care of myself, and I take the best care of myself. I eat the best foods. I'm very careful and strict about what I eat and drink. In fact, sitting here with my warm alkaline water, because that's all I ever drink. I managed today to get some lunch. I made sure to tell the waiter no garlic, because I detest garlic. And I ate lunch only because I had to take my vitamins, and because I just kept not eating until I was just really hungry. And that was when I was done with most of the errands that had to be done, and I came back to the house now. So this is where I am. And I made this video in the midst of everything because I just want you guys to know that you always have to look to the future and live your life as if you are preparing for the future, a good future, you know? And don't give it to your enemies. Don't give it to circumstances like that, because that's what they want. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stay strong, and whatever your means of staying strong is, I don't know if it's God, if it's prayer, if it's, as they say, in a higher power, and it's different for people, what their definition of a higher power is. If you're a former addict, if you're a current addict, if you are going through something even slightly similar to me, if you're going through very different things that are very challenging, whatever you're going through, and at the bottom of it is you. It's you. Even if you believe in God, you're the one who has to put, you have to put the powers of God into effect. If you believe in the universe, you take a scientific approach to it, you have to put everything into effect to make it positive. It really does start with you. I know it starts with me. It starts within, and that's not some kind of phrase or saying. It's really, really true. Only you can do for you what needs to be done to be and remain strong. So look within yourself, look it up, read about it, get nosy, because that's how you survive and get there. And I say this as much for you as I say it for myself. Know that there's always a tomorrow, and get through the present, but live for the future. Thanks. See you guys soon, hopefully. Bye.